Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we are going to try and swap the transmission out in my 1968 Chevelle. Currently, it's got the factory Powerglide, which you can very nearly see right there. And we're going to replace it with this 204R or 200R4. I've seen it both ways. If you know which way it is, let me know in the comments. And I'm sure 50% of you are going to tell me one way and 50% the other. But the big deal about this is overdrive. Currently, with that Powerglide, we're at right around 2,500 RPMs at 60 miles an hour on the highway with 308 gears. This has 0.67 to 1 as its final drive ratio, which is going to put us 1,600 RPMs maybe? Somewhere around there. I don't know. I'm not very good at the calculator thing, but it's less is what I'm saying. I also chose this because third gear on a 204R is 1-to-1. Which is exactly what high gear is in this. And that's a joke. From what I understand, if you have an aluminum Powerglide, like we have, and you get a 204R, like we got, they're the same length and the same spline count. So we shouldn't have to change drive shafts at all. So it should bolt right up. The only big difference here is the Powerglide is a vacuum operated kickdown, and this has the TV cable. This is that GM adjustable TV cable where we pull it out, we set it and forget it. I think it's made by Ronco if I remember right. Actually, we have the proper bracket. Currently, it's just holding our throttle cable. So we're gonna have to do something about that. Now, I can't just chuck this transmission in the Chevelle and call it good. We need to do a few things first. We need to change out the seals, both on the input shaft here and on the tail shaft. I don't know that they're bad, but it's preventative. I don't want to pull the transmission down to have to replace that if it's leaking. And I'm already here, so I'm going to do that one. And also, we are going to pull the pan and change the filter and get a good look and see how much clutch material is down in that pan. Might give us an idea on how worn this transmission is. And there's a couple other things once it's in there that are going to be different, like this is the TV cable or throttle valve cable, kickdown cable, whatever you want to call it. That is going to replace our kickdown lever and also our vacuum going to the transmission. We're not going to need either one of those. We should probably think about replacing these cooler lines. That one might leak a little bit. And I'm not sure if the transmission mount here at the back is going to be the same. Probably not, but we can't worry about that until it's actually in there and we see where it needs to go. There's not going to be a good way to drain this at all. And like most automatic transmissions, you can tell GM transmissions apart by their pan. When I get it off, I'll show you the shape, and also by the number of bolts that hold them in place. This one should have 16 bolts. Fine. There's fine. Well, there's not a whole lot in it. I actually knew that. If you watch any of my shorts, you'll know I dumped half this fluid out the other day when I had it up on its tail shaft. That's not bad at all. I've seen way worse. Now, there's a decent accumulation on that magnet, but off this tail tag, I can tell you this is a 1984 transmission. And that's not bad. Like I was saying about the shapes, this is a very odd shaped pan. It has this deep sump here and a smaller sump at the back. It is held on by 16 bolts. So if you have this shaped pan with 16 bolts, 204R or R4, or R, or R4. Yes. That's a nice red fluid. So either it's garbage and they threw some fluid in it before they sold it so it make it look good, or it's not very worn. I'm gonna go with this is not very worn. And even better news, nobody siliconed this gasket on. Not gonna be a lot of cleanup, and I appreciate that. Whoever did that, thank you. The front seal on these is held on by sort of like a clip style lock ring. And usually you can get it off with your fingers, but just like that. Sometimes you do have to sort of pop it with a screwdriver. Not this time. Not a good way to do this. Yes, they make tools for this. No, I don't have one. All right, well, we're back to just punching holes in the seal then. And deforming it until it comes out. There we go. Oh no, we're fine. I didn't do really anything at all. Same idea here on the tail shaft seal. We're just gonna take a screwdriver and a hammer and tap it, deform it, and get it out of there. Big difference here is we have to tap in a counterclockwise direction because of the Coriolis effect. I don't know if that's supposed to do that, but that does that. And here's the tag number on this transmission. I don't know a whole lot about them other than OG, I looked it up, means something like Chevy Caprice, and then this middle number here, 84 is the year. But if you have a tag like this center rivet, and it's color-coded and has letters and numbers on it, it's probably a 204R. Look it up first though. Always do your research. Filter and gasket kit came in today. This is the FK140. Both gaskets a match. This is the exact same part number. It's the same. One thing you definitely want to do is take this magnet out and clean it off completely. You don't want anything that's on here going through that transmission. It's already been there, and it didn't want to be there. So we don't want it there either. Boop. And I know I've said this before, but I'll say it again. This is an aluminum case. You want to start everything by hand because the last thing you want to do is strip out aluminum threads. I don't think it really matters when you tighten this, but I do like to go some sort of X pattern, just like you're doing with wheel bolts, cylinder heads, valve cover gaskets, pretty much anything. Precision part number, I don't know, 9613S. Hopefully it's right. And we're gonna do this the wrong way. If you're gonna do that, don't hit the splines, which I just did. Part number 4950, at least in this case. We got our seal installer tool out. We don't want to hurt these splines. You may ask yourself, why didn't I use this on the other one? That's a great question. I asked that too. And the last thing we'll do is put our retaining clip on. I don't know how much it actually retains, but it allegedly does something. Prepped, sorta. There it is. It's on the lift. Now all we have to do is put it up in the air, yank the transmission, put the new transmission in, and we're done. It's gonna be just that easy, I'm sure of it. At least I have a lift. This is gonna be a lot harder if it was on the ground with jack stands. So I guess I can't complain. Here is that Powerglide transmission. I think the exhaust is actually out of the way. We might not have to touch the exhaust at all. Probably gonna have to unbolt this cross member and slide it back. Judging by the looks of that, that's 100% accurate. So we're gonna have to pull that speedometer cable right there. We're gonna have to unhook the cooler lines that are right up there. We're gonna have to do the bell housing bolts. We're gonna have to unhook that kickdown link right there. But we're gonna go ahead and start with removing this drive shaft, which I think we just have to unbolt down here at the rear end, slide it forward, down and out. And through the magic of video, the drive shaft is now out. You didn't need to see me take 4 bolts out. It's fine. There it is. See? Out. Living my life an eighth of a turn at a time. Taking forever. Well, while we're down here, we might as well try to tackle these cooler lines. 9/16 on the fitting and 1/2" line wrench for the actual line we're trying to take off. I think we got it. Line wrenches are great for actually breaking stuff loose, but after that, they kind of suck. Eighth of a turn at a time. This would probably be easier if the exhaust was not in the way, but it's not going to be in the way to remove the transmission, so I really don't want to take the exhaust out. Even though currently my forehead is resting on it just to be able to see this line. I'm okay with that. Always save all the little rubber caps you get with, you know, master cylinders and carburetors, whatnot and so forth. They come in handy to plug leaks. Just like that. That's just what I needed. There we go, cooler lines are off. What do you want to do next? Besides take a break. Oh, can't do that now. I guess since we're down here, we should probably get these torque converter bolts next. should be all of those. I'm just gonna take the link that's coming down off the steering column off. I don't know what else of this whole Z-bar looking thing needs to come off, but I'm pretty sure it'll at least be separate if we do this. Disconnected. Oh, look at those lovely exhaust welds. Only a few of them leak, and just a little. All right, the only thing left is bell housing bolts, and to move this cross member out of the way. We're gonna lower the car down until the transmission is resting on this nice, handy snap-on tool cart that allegedly has the right weight limit for this. And I don't know what that weighs, and I don't know what the limit is, so that's a match. The good thing is, now with this lowered, in no way can I really see what I'm doing. Fantastic. I believe these are 9/16. Oh, I wish my wobble didn't wobble so much sometimes. Seems like 9/16 to me. This is not easy to see, but we are completely free of that engine right now. Ah, close. Oh yeah, that comes out. There we go. Nailed it. Here's the two transmissions side by side. This is the Powerglide I just took out. This is the 204R we're gonna be putting back in. I've got them lined up at the front there at the bell housing. And when we do that, you look at the back. Those are the same length, or within a ½ inch of each other. So shouldn't need any drive shaft modifications, but we should at least make sure that this drive shaft is going to slip into that other yoke. I know the input splines are the same. I don't know about the output. It looks really similar. This should be just fine. Oh yeah. Seal fits nicely. Spline count is the same, nice and tight. No problem. Drive shaft, good. All right, day 2, yay. I've got the new transmission up on the tool cart, and I've got it raised up on some 2x4s and some 1x somethings and whatever. It's up about 3 inches, so that way we'll clear the exhaust and be able to get this bolted to the bell housing. But first, you might notice we're missing something. We need to install the torque converter. All right, so here's our torque converter. We've got it filled up with close to 2 quarts of transmission fluid, which according to the internet is what this takes. Put a little bit of fresh transmission fluid on the sealing surface of that so it's not dry when it first starts. We're gonna install this on the splines, and we're gonna slowly turn it and push and listen for 3 clicks. Sometimes they're very distinct. Sometimes they're not. All right, we're on the splines. We're gonna spin and listen for 3 clicks. That's not one, that's just going up against the thing. One. Two. 3. Get the car lowered down and get this thing shoved up against the bell housing and try to throw some bolts in it, shall we? Can't think of anything else I'd rather do right now, except anything else. All right, this is not gonna be easy to see, but right there attached to the block is the dowel pin sticking out. That's the alignment pin for this bell housing. And right there is the hole that it goes in. And those are really, really close to being lined up. So I think it's time to wiggle and push. It has been an absolute fight, but I've got 2 of those bell housing bolts in, and we've got it pulled up against the block. So now we're gonna raise it up so we can get to everything else. All right, it's the end of day 2 of this transmission swap. The 204R is in place. The rear cross member is bolted up, and back here, the only thing you have to do with it is actually, you have to slide it back 1 set of bolt holes. If you look, there's multiple holes along the frame, and now it's in the middle. We got 4 out of 6 of the bell housing bolts installed, none of which you can see. I have yet to hook up the transmission cooler lines. TV cable is still dangling down here, and I have no idea how I'm gonna make this work with the column shifter. And the torque converter is bolted up. I need to know which one of these electrical terminals I need to use for the lockup converter, and I have to install the drive shaft. But that's like day 3, day 4 stuff. I'm beat. And we're back for day 3, which has actually gone pretty smoothly. It was lots of little things like, you know, putting the drive shaft on and hooking up these cooler lines. Oh yeah, also, I need to order an inspection cover. I don't have one of those. And another thing I don't have is just about one of the last steps in this process, and that's adapting this shift lever up to the column shift on this 68 Chevelle. And the first step of this is pretty easy. Make sure your wheels are chalked and make sure this is in park. After that, this comes off with a 15mm nut. It's not always gonna be a 15mm, but this one was. Now, I need to figure out how to adapt that to this wonky Powerglide setup. There was like a Z-bar bolted to the frame, to a thing that goes over here. And this does not unbolt. But I had an idea. I want to use this. This is the rod that goes from the steering column down to the vicinity of that shift lever. So we definitely need this. So I started looking through some of my parts, and what I found was I have a couple shift levers from a 3 on the tree. I think this was from an F100, but it could have been something else. And one thing I like is that it has this piece here with the pivot on it. That'll be good for changing angles, which we are definitely going to need. And the keyway on that is pretty similar to the keyway on that. Might be able to work. However, both of these are far too long. Too long by about 2 or 3 inches, and the tips on them are not the right size either. So we're sticking with this for sure. But what we are going to do, cut this lever arm off where I need it, slip the factory lever arm into this hollow tube, weld that up, and maybe we've got a shift lever that'll work. We need to make sure this goes on the transmission first, then we'll weld this up. Sorry for the weird angle, but that's about the only way I can make this work right now. Oh, maybe. That feels like that grabbed. Hold on. We're gonna use the socket and tap it very lightly and see if it'll slip onto there. Yep. Yeah, that is on there. I think with the nut back on there, that'll probably work just fine. I still can't believe how well this factory Chevy shift lever fits inside this hollow tube that used to be a Ford. I mean, come on. That's like they were made to be together. All right, I've got that tacked in place and it's hooked up at the column. Let's go up in the car and see if this actually does what it's supposed to do. All right, never mind what the shift indicator says right now. We're just listening for all the clicks. Park, reverse, neutral, overdrive, 3. We can get to 2. We can't get to 1. I'll take that for now. Now the only thing left is to wire up that torque converter clutch solenoid to a switch. All right, those are the 2 wires for our toggle switch that's going to run that torque converter clutch solenoid. But before we wire that, I think we should actually just make sure the transmission goes forwards and backwards, because I still have no idea if it does that. Probably a good idea. I mean, this thing still runs, so that's good. Reverse. We're going backwards. This thing has reverse. Oh, this is so exciting. Neutral. This is overdrive. Oh, we got both. Wait. Well, sure, I mean, I killed it, but that's different. Oh yeah, it's got the forward gear. great success. I forgot to look. Are we leaking fluids anywhere? Undetermined. We're on grass. We'll look later. Well, actually, hold on. We just drove this entire route. I don't see anything leaking. That confirms to me that we have 0 leaks in that transmission. Fantastic. Before we go drive this thing, we should probably make sure it has enough transmission fluid in it. And everything's still looking good. Yeah, that's full. This has about 11 quarts in it, and that's including the 2 quarts in the converter. So internet said 11 to 14. 11 seems to fill this. I almost forgot. New air induction setup, mostly cooler air, coming up to what is the bottom of a GM truck TBI air cleaner, and the top is a 1979 Corvette lid. There you go. Way better, in theory. Man, that's a good looking car from 20, 30 feet away. After that, you start to notice all the flaws, but the flaws are what make it good. Also, torque converter clutch switch is wired up, but we haven't installed or done anything. I want to make sure it works before I worry about where I'm going to put it. And no, you shouldn't ground it through your sill plate. All right, everybody, this is the moment I've all been waiting for. We're looking for 4 forward gears. And if we get that far, we'll throw the switch for the torque converter clutch and see if we can lock up 4th gear. All right, here's our chance to get torque converter clutch locked up. Here we go. Well, I don't think the torque converter clutch did anything. But we're doing 65 at 2,000 RPMs. So we definitely have 4th gear. This is an ingenious swap, whoever thought of this originally. I mean, this makes driving this so much better. Why didn't they come up with 4 gears in the 60s? I mean, we got to the moon. We couldn't figure out overdrive in 1968, 1969. So the only thing to work out is why that TCC is not working. It could be bad, or I could have wired it wrong. It could be poor ground. The door sill might not be the best ground. Overall, though, I gotta say, I'm pretty happy. Well, I figured out why the torque converter clutch didn't work on the test drive. I had run power to the green and ground to that purple. And what you should do is run power to that purple, and your ground should be this tan one on the bottom, and that green one should not be connected. The torque converter clutch works now, so that's nice. Now that I've wired this torque converter clutch switch in a way that is more conducive to the flow of electrons, the only thing left to do is take this out on the highway, see what our final drive RPMs are at highway speed. Before we did this swap, at 60 miles an hour, 2,500 RPMs. Torque converter clutch is engaged, and we're at about 1,800 RPMs. So it does make a big difference. Yeah, this Chinese tachometer is off by about 200 or 300 RPMs, because we're at idle, and there's no way that we're idling at 700 RPMs right now. We're more like 550. So if it was 1,800 with the torque converter clutch engaged, then really it's about 1,700, 1,650, which is sort of what we guessed in the beginning. The only thing really left is to check the fuel economy difference, and that's going to take a couple tanks of gas to do that. So I'll have to let you know on that one. Overall, this is a huge win. No drive shaft modifications needed. It bolted right in, same cooler lines in the same position. The only real big difference was I had to hook up the TV cable with the TV cable bracket that's readily available at the parts store. This is really the perfect swap for a Powerglide or a Turbo 350 if you want to overdrive. That's going to do it for this episode, everybody. We put a 204R or R4 overdrive transmission in place of an aluminum Powerglide in this 1968 Chevelle. And we gained a lot of things. We gained a better first gear. The Powerglide was 1.84 or 1.85 to 1. Now we have 2.74. We gained an overdrive. Instead of a direct drive 1 to 1, now we have 0.67 to 1.
And that dropped our highway RPMs by at least 800 RPMs at 60 miles an hour, which is fantastic. I have yet to calculate the miles per gallon, but if you're turning 800 less RPMs, you're gonna be burning less gas, in theory. We didn't have to change the drive shaft at all. It's the exact fit. And I don't think I mentioned it, but that rear transmission mount fit perfectly. It's the exact same one. We just had to push the cross member back. Everything else worked out great. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns about this, let me know in the comments, and I'll try to answer them, or I'll try to direct you to somebody that can. And until then, I'm gonna go drive this thing, and we'll see you next time.